everyone, and welcome to this edition of Pearls of Fisdom with Nirmal Bang. I'm Avan Dabash. Today, we want to talk about the healthcare sector, and one very prominent player within this space is Shalby Hospitals. They offer a wide range of tertiary as well as quaternary healthcare services, specializing in orthopedics, complex joint replacements, cardiology, neurology, as well as oncology and much more. They have a presence in about 13 cities, spanning 8 states, with 12 multi-speciality and 4 Shalby orthopedic hospitality centers. Let's connect with Shanay Shah, who is the president of Shalby, to talk a lot more about their quarterly performance as well as their long-term growth plans. Thank you so much for taking time out. And Shanay, let's begin by discussing the reported numbers. And for the Q1 quarter, the revenues were a little bit flat this time around, but I think it was the lower margin which led to an EBITDA miss. What would you characterize the quarter gone by as, and what are the growth metrics going forward?
Sure. Thank you, Avan, for having me on the show. So I think if you look at if you break up the numbers, really, if you see that we have two major businesses. One is the hospitals business, and the other one is the implants business. So I think if you look at the hospital business as a standalone, I think the EBITDA margins have been north of 23%. So they have so there has been an exceptional performance there. As you know that we acquired a hospital in Delhi earlier this year, and that hospital is about 1.5 years in operation, and about 6 months since we've taken over. It's still in the phase where it's ramping up, right? So the EBITDA margins have been kind of flat there, and hence that has pulled down the overall hospital's margin. And then we have the implants business. The implants business is again, at a phase where, we are kind of, in that growth phase, and, we are investing a lot right now in creating that supply chain as we kind of see a very exponential growth coming there on that front over the next few years. So, we are investing heavily in the implant business at the moment, and we've already invested north of $40 million, about 300 crores plus in that business. And, in terms of top line as well as profitability, the numbers will show up in FY26.
Okay. What about, the kind of target that you have set out, about $16 million revenue in FY25 for the implants division? That, of course, on a low base is high by 50%. What is going to drive this growth?
See, the growth in the implant business is going to be coming in from two fronts. One is, of course, expanding geographies. So, we have already started working in Indonesia in a significant way. The adoption of these implants among the Indian doctors have been quite significant. And, in the US as well, we are expecting a lot of doctors to get converted over the next few months and quarters. So all of this, I think, would add up to that, target of $16 million that we've set. However, it is not a very steep target in our opinion, as, we are already in line, to kind of achieve that now.
Now, there was also that acquisition of Sanar Hospital, the medical facility. Tell us a little bit more about whether or not the lower margins and the occupancy being a little bit low is really going to turn around. Will it turn out to be earnings accretive down the line?
Yes, absolutely. So, if I have to break it up, we bought the operating business, which did about close to 90 crore of revenue, in the last fiscal year. And we bought it at a revenue multiple of 1.5 times. Practically, we paid about 140 crores for the operating business. And if I have to include some of the debt that they had taken, it would be about 175 crores, right? So that's what we paid, practically 2 times of revenue, which is considered a good deal, in the hospital industry. At the same time, we bought the asset. Of course, that was a different holding company that we acquired. That was bought for a little over 100 crores. So we believe that, with the ramp up that is expected over the next 3 to 4 years, we should be at a good 15 to 20% ROC level at that point of time. But we will be EBITDA accretive not from this year, but from FY26 onwards. So FY26 onwards, we see a double-digit kind of EBITDA margin. In FY25, we will definitely be, kind of positive on the EBITDA front. However, from the ROC perspective, it may not be very accretive since it's the first year of operation for us.
Let's also discuss your international patients that contributed about 15 crores in terms of your revenue. How are you looking at, with the Sanar facility, growing your international patients?
Yeah, well, so I think, for medical tourism, we have been one of the pioneers, in terms of being among the first hospital groups to really kind of operate a clinic out of Nairobi for the last so many years. So, it's been 15 years since we've been operating our Nairobi facility. So we've been doing a lot of medical tourism for the last 20 years. And Sanar has only helped us take it to the next level, because if you look at, the top line of Sanar, about 65-70%, more than two-thirds of the work that they've been doing, over the last 12 months has been international business. So I think, the emphasis will remain on that. Of course, we want to kind of get empaneled with a lot of local insurance companies and schemes. But I think medical tourism will be the key focus for Sanar hospitals going forward, as we also look to ramp up capacity, and we want to kind of also expand the current facility from the existing number of beds, and we're looking to kind of expand that to by adding another 50 odd beds in that facility.
Sure thing. And if we were to break it down as well, the average revenue per operating bed, or ARPOB, compared to what we saw last time around, has increased. Can you walk us through the metric here and what you're looking at when it comes to the average length of stay as well?
Yeah, sure. So I think if you look at the RPOB numbers, really we see that our average has been anywhere between 36,000 to 40,000. For all the hospitals put together, if you keep Sanar on the side and don't kind of add it to the mix. The reason being that Sanar being kind of in a metro city, I think it really pulls up the numbers. So if you look at the average for this quarter, it includes the Sanar business, and that's why you see that number inch up to 43, 44,000 at a console level. But I think the way to look at it is, I think for the comparison purposes, we have been, to look at Sanar in a different way, and we already are doing about 70 to 75,000 kind of RPOB in that hospital, and I think which will continue to be that way. While the implants, while the hospitals business for us, which is all the other hospitals that we operate, about 16 hospitals, these will continue to be around that 36 to 38,000 rupee mark.
What about the increase in finance costs for the years ahead? I mean, you guys are looking at higher investments in the implants business. Is that going to overall increase the finance costs?
Well, I think the way we look at it is that we are having strong internal accruals. So in this year, we are looking at doing about 250 odd crores of EBITDA. And the requirement that we have on the other side for the implant business is actually much smaller than that. So, however, we will need these internal accruals to really fund the Asha Parekh Hospital in Mumbai, which is coming up. This is going to be a 200-bed facility, which is going to be offering multi-speciality services for the Mumbaikars. This is basically in the Santa Cruz region on SV Road. And so we're going to break down the existing structure and create a new greenfield structure over there. So, a lot of these funds will be allocated there. But on the debt front, we are quite comfortable. We are at a net debt of about 200 crores as we speak. And we are quite comfortable with that number at the moment.
Physiotherapy, diagnostics, and pharmacy, because they have been some key revenue drivers in the quarter gone by. Will that continue?
Yeah, of course. So, for us, all our allied healthcare services businesses, whether you look at pharmacy, whether you look at diagnostics, radiology, so, all of these businesses are, part of the allied businesses, and which help us deliver care to the patient. We don't run any of these services independently. Having said that, yes, these three contribute very meaningfully to the overall profitability of the of the organization, and like many people have outsourced part of their pharmacies, diagnostics, and radiology, to other operators. We cannot. I mean, we would never do that. Because we do believe that these are important functions to maintain the quality of treatment, as well as you need to have control over these services to be able to offer the best clinical outcomes.
And Shanay, I also want to understand that there was a strategic investment in Healers Hospital. Tell us how that's going, and are there any other strategic investments that are lined up?
Yeah, well, so I think the Healers is again the one in Delhi that I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah.
So 175 odd crore was the EV that was given for the operating company, which was PK Healthcare, and Healers was the company that owned the asset. So that for that asset we've spent about 104 crores. That was spent to buy kind of the equity which controlled the land at which the Delhi hospital is located. So that was the deal, and in fact, as I spoke earlier, we're looking at ramping up the facility, and we are quite happy with the performance of the team. In terms of newer investments, yes, we are looking at the Asha Parekh Hospital, as I spoke about earlier. That's going to be 200 beds. We're going to be investing about 300 odd crores on that facility, and that is again going to be a state-of-the-art facility in terms of what we'll be able to do there. Um, Besides that, we are also looking at Calcutta and Pune as important markets for us. So Calcutta, Pune, and Lucknow will be markets for us where we would be looking at doing something organic or inorganic. At the moment we don't have anything that has already been closed, but yes, actively we will be looking at these three locations.
And tell us a little bit more about, how you're looking at expanding in other regions like the Pune region, how you're looking at expanding overall. What kind of updates would you like to share?
Yeah, well, expansion plans, yes. There are a couple of inorganic opportunities available at the moment in the Calcutta region, as well as some organic opportunities in the Lucknow region. So these are the priority for us. Shalby has a great customer connect. We have a household name in these regions, and it makes a lot of strategic sense for us to kind of set up something there. And if we end up doing something in Lucknow, for example, we will have the first mover advantage as well, because there are not many corporate hospitals which already are offering the services there. So I think from that perspective, we will be kind of keen to look at these two regions to start.
Okay. And, you said, and I'm just going to reiterate, that you're confident of achieving double-digit growth and sustaining profitability in the coming quarters. What's driving the confidence?
So I think for us, the ethos has really been putting the patient at the center of the ecosystem, and I think ultimately the clinical outcomes would be the ones that would drive the kind of growth that we would be looking at, and I think that is creating a lot of awareness, about what kind of good work that we are doing, and I feel that is demonstrated by some of these newer ventures. Like for example, the Jaipur hospital, the Indore hospital, or the Delhi hospital. These are regions where Shalby is probably 5-10 years into the city, and still we are basically getting a great response from the local citizens. So I think, which means that there is something we're doing right, and I think what's important is how quickly can we scale it up by not leveraging the balance sheet too much to maintain the high ROCEs and ROEs. I think that will be the most important nut to crack for us.
And finally, Shanay, before we let you go, some pearls of wisdom that you'd like to share, being at the helm of a company that is entrenched in the ever-growing healthcare space.
Well, I think being focused and being persistent, I think has really helped the organization. In terms of at least what I've seen at Shalby, there would be times where things may not go as per your plan. But I think being at it and being positive, I think can and absolutely being patient can really probably it can do wonders in the medium to long term.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you on board.
Thank you so much, Aman, for having me on your show.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from Nirmal Bang.